If AI keeps giving you bland, wrong, or technically correct but useless answers, it's probably not the model. It's the way the request is framed. There's one mistake that shows up in almost every bad prompt, and it's simple: asking for output when you haven't given the tool a job. You're treating AI like a slot machine. Pull the lever, hope for gold, when it behaves more like a power tool. If you don't clamp the wood and mark the cut, you don't get a clean line. You get a mess and a story about how the saw sucks. Here's what that mistake looks like in real life. Someone opens a chat and types, write a YouTube script about AI agents, or make me a content plan, or give me 10 viral hooks. And the results feel like the internet average: vague, overconfident, full of filler. That's not a bug, that's the default. When you give AI a vague job, it fills the empty space with generic patterns. The fix starts with one question: what would good look like in plain terms? Not make it better, not make it viral. Good as in, who is this for? What do they already believe? What do they need to do after? And what should the deliverable look like? You don't need a dissertation, you need a few anchor points. And picture this: you want an outline for an 8 to 10-minute video. If you ask write an outline, you'll get a school report. If you ask write an outline that opens with a tension hook, then 3 beats, then a concrete example in each beat, then a short rap. You'll get something you can actually record. Same tool, different job. Now let's make it painfully obvious with a before and after. Bad prompt, write me a hook about AI. What you get: did you know AI is changing everything? It's not wrong, it's just nothing. Better prompt, write a 2-sentence hook for a beginner audience who feels AI is overhyped. First sentence creates tension, second sentence promises a simple fix. No buzzwords, no hype, no game changer. Now the tool has a job and guardrails, and the output immediately sounds like a person. So the real mistake is skipping the constraints. Constraints are not prompt engineering. They're just the parts you would tell a human editor if you wanted a useful draft: tone, length, audience, format, and what to avoid. When those aren't present, AI guesses. And when AI guesses, it defaults to safe and generic. A second version of the same mistake is asking for the final answer too early. If you want a strong script, don't start with write the whole thing. Start with the spine, ask for the promise, the 3 points, and one example per point. Then refine. The first output is supposed to be rough. People get angry at AI because they expect the first draft to be publish ready. That's like getting mad at a sketch because it isn't a painting. Here's a quick scene that makes this obvious. You paste your idea, explain how AI tools work together. It gives you a clean sounding explanation, and it's boring, so you think the tool failed. But what actually failed is the prompt never told it to be interesting. You didn't give it a specific scenario. You didn't give it a person. You didn't give it stakes. You asked for information and you got a textbook. Try the same request with a real constraint. Explain this through a morning workflow, inbox zero, meeting notes and turning notes into tasks. Use simple language, no buzzwords. Add one moment where it breaks and gets fixed. Now, A has something to build around, a story frame and a failure point. The output becomes usable because the prompt contains reality. And here's the underrated part: reality includes what you don't want. If you hate filler, say it. If you hate corporate tone, say it. If you don't want bullet point cadence, say it. I doesn't get offended. It gets clearer instructions. That's the toolbox rule. In OITES, AI improves when you feed it the parts of reality you already know. You already know your audience. You already know the length. You already know what you hate: fluff, cliches, robotic tone. Put that into the job description, and the output changes immediately. In the next part, there's a simple 2-step workflow that turns almost any prompt into something usable without becoming a prompt engineer. The fastest way to stop getting garbage is to use a 2-step workflow. Generate structure, then force specificity. Structure means you ask for a draft that fits your format. Specificity means you make it prove it understands by adding examples, numbers, or show me moments. When you skip either one, you get that smooth but empty writing that wastes your time. Here's a practical template you can reuse without thinking. Create a draft in this format, then do a second pass where you cut fluff, add one concrete example per section, and rewrite in plain spoken language. That's it. You're not trying to write the perfect prompt. You're telling the tool how to revise. Let's run it on something common: hooks. If you ask for 10 hooks, you'll get a stack of "Did you know?" and "In today's video," and this will change your life. The fix is to define the hook type. Do you want a tension hook, a curiosity hook, or a contrarian hook? Then tell it what to avoid. No hype, no buzzwords, no fake urgency. If you do that, the hooks start sounding like a human with a point of view. Now run the same idea on a script outline. A weak request is write an 8-minute script about using AI better. A strong request is write an 8-minute script in 4 chunks: hook, problem, fix, wrap. Include 2 mini scenes, one where someone gets a generic answer, and one where the same person gets a great answer after adding constraints. Keep sentences short, make it sound spoken, not academic. Same topic, completely different output. Same with planning. If you paste your tasks and say make a plan, you get a list. Lists don't run your day. A plan has time, sequence, and trade-offs. So you ask for that. Put this into a morning block, a midday block, and an end-of-day block. Limit to 3 priorities. Everything else goes to a parking lot. Now you've told AI what good means, and here's the part most people miss. You have to give AI permission to say no. When you ask a human assistant to do something impossible, they push back. I won't unless you ask it to. Add one line. If this request is missing info, ask me the minimum questions needed. That turns a bad prompt into a conversation that converges. Now, if you want the one habit that fixes this permanently, it's this. Stop asking for content. Ask for decisions. Instead of write a script, ask for choose the best angle out of these 3 and explain why. Instead of give me ideas, ask for rank these ideas by click potential for a beginner audience. Instead of make this better, ask for what's unclear, what's generic, and what's missing. Those questions force the model to operate like an editor, not a generator, because the generator mode is where the garbage comes from. Generator mode fills space, editor mode tightens, clarifies, and makes choices. So here's the tiny toolbox move to use on your very next prompt. Add a second line at the end. After you answer, critique your answer. What's generic, what's missing, and what would make it more specific? That one line forces a revision loop without you doing mental gymnastics. Give it a job, give it constraints, then make it revise. That's the difference between a toy and a tool. One more quick example, because this is where people feel the difference in 5 minutes. Say you want a thumbnail concept. You type, give me thumbnail ideas for an AI video. You get generic stuff, robots, neon, big words. Now change the job. Give me 3 thumbnail concepts that match a clean toolbox vibe. 2 words max on screen. No robots. Focus on one object in the center. Each concept must have a clear contrast. Before versus after. Messy versus simple. Confusing versus clear. That forces visual decisions instead of random ideas. Or say you're stuck on the title, don't ask for 10 titles, ask for 5 titles that promise a result in plain language, and 5 titles that create tension by calling out a mistake. Then tell me which 2 have the best click potential for beginners and why. You're making the model choose, not just generate. That's the whole game. Stop using AI like a vending machine, use it like a workshop. You bring the materials, it helps you cut, shape, and assemble faster. If you want a quick drill for tomorrow, here it is. Take one task you hate, hooks, outlines, emails, planning, and run the two-step workflow on it. First pass for structure, second pass for specificity and cleanup. That's it. Once that becomes your default, the quality jump feels unfair, and it has nothing to do with secret prompts. It's just giving the tool a real job.